Ollie here with another loaf of bread for you today. Today's loaf comes to us from another familiar name, Viktor Frankl. And he writes, "We who lived in concentration camps can remember the men who walked through the huts, comforting others, giving away their last piece of bread. They may have been few in number, but they offer sufficient proof that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." Reading about Viktor Frankl's time in these concentration camps, reading about some of the things that he witnessed and some of the things that he went through, and more importantly, reading about the insights that emerged from his time there, is a great source of inspiration and resilience for me. Because if a person like Viktor Frankl can go through the harrowing conditions of a Nazi concentration camp and come out with the conclusion, which I just read to you in this passage, that there is a final freedom that can't be taken from us, and that's the freedom to choose our attitude. Well, when I read all of this and I contemplate all of this, I feel immensely powerful, because I've never even been in a situation that remotely resembles this type of circumstance. My troubles are minor. They're irrelevant compared to what Viktor Frankl went through. And he was able to overcome these challenges not after the fact, but while he was experiencing them. He was able to choose his attitude, his opinions, and his point of view on these horrible things that were happening, not only to him, but to people all around him. So what I get out of this entire book is that if Viktor Frankl and the few people that he mentions in this line can go through harrowing conditions, torture, horrors that are unimaginable to us in our pampered and sheltered Western world, then I can get through all my little problems with ease, without getting upset, without flying off the handle or getting bored. I can do it. It's possible. Note what he says here. The people who were walking through the huts comforting others and giving away their last piece of bread, they were the minority. Frankl acknowledges this in the passage. He makes no bones about it. He says those were the exceptions. They were the few. But the fact that there was even one of these people proves the point, because they were all in the same circumstances. They were all undergoing the same horrible conditions. They were all undergoing starvation and torture and abuse, but some of them were able to rise above it, which means that anyone can do it. Everything can be taken from you but one thing: the freedom to choose your attitude and your reaction to what happens around you. The last of the human freedoms, as Viktor Frankl calls it. So don't give that freedom up. It's the most important type of freedom you can ever achieve. Because what good is outer political or socioeconomic freedom if you're a slave to ideas, if you're a slave to desires and aversions? What good is political freedom if you're a slave to your lust, your jealousy, your rage? You see, we've made such a huge fuss about external freedom, we've almost forgotten that there's a more important primary source of freedom, and it's within us. Because it doesn't really matter what's happening out there. If I have the freedom to choose my reaction to it and my attitude toward it, the world is one of those things that can't be directly controlled. And so isn't it better to cultivate inner freedom? That way you can handle whatever life throws at you. Anyway, that's just my thought for the day. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to live well, my friends.